And here it goes. Fucking FGO little actation. So this is the special, right? 6-year anniversary special. So they talked about what happened within, from summer camp last year all the way to now. Nice little summer event, new system of the Holy Grail War, Holy Grail Front, excuse me. Yamatai Teikoku on the Guda Guda. The Waltz came out, and sadly it is now ended, chat. You can no longer play Waltz, so hopefully you guys enjoyed MASH and Artoria Tap Tap Revolution. The Imaginary Scramble, where we saw Vang and Nemo. Shit was wild. 5.5 Christmas, which kind of entails some new things that's happening. Start of a new fucking journey. And Kageki, aka Avenger Ushi. Valentine with Karen. Amakusa's little hunting thieving season, and the love of a doll, aka sculpture to a sculptor. Akihabara event, the April Fool that created the amalgamation of a god. And then, the Waltz collab, which allowed you to get fucked out of costumes and MIXA. By the way, you can get MIXA for free, or, Then you got 6.1, then 6.2, I think. Yeah, 6.1 and 2 here. Nice. So they just kind of overall talked about it. Give me a second while I read this. So he's just telling us that season 6, right, it was a very important thing, that the fact that everybody's enjoying it is wonderful. During Nasu, while he was writing, and his volume definitely increased significantly, started the writing, and was just like, a lot of the developer side wanted to read more, and so at the same time as Takeuchi definitely added more into it, allowing us to get a fuck ton of more info. So essentially, in order to create LB6, it started out with Nasu stuff, then the development staff and the other side wanted to read more, and then Takeuchi even intervened and added more. Therefore, there's the gargantuan amount of volume you saw for LB6. While that was happening for Mr. Nasu and Takeuchi, what were you guys doing? Our job is how Protag can go on a specific journey. How we can put, how can we put game scenarios to a certain ways and certain halts. When it comes to story animations, like for instance in the field map, Nasu wanted to create a imagery of a Briton, and because he wrote an imagery of the Briton, we used and analyzed and dissected the scenario within the chart map, creating the location of where the Lost Belt was, Lost Belt is, Lost Belt was, Lost Belt is, and then how players can approach, where the location and time settings can be, and how progress of each characters can do. Also, from the spot icon from the scenario, we make sure we were double checking from Mr. Nasu for confirmation of where the location is, and we did very minor to small details finishing it up. It says, for instance, like it said, the autumn forest. If you, oops, god damn it. It says, from the autumn forest. For instance, they want the field map. The autumn forest. They want the field map to make it more eerie and then colorful at the same time. Can be spotted with just staring at it. That place has more trees, and that tree has colors or something like that. And whenever there is a misplacement and a flow of time or flow of sequence gets disturbed, we go back to square one and try to write it back from the very beginning. It seems that the field creation and the specific location and how it's being done, you guys struggled on it. It says it's a very adventurous part that definitely, take every single one of the sequences and the stories and the locations very seriously, unlike any other. Not just regular conversations from sceneries, but scenario, シナリオに合わせてタイプムーンさんの行在して、イベントカットやムービーも返して。So we added event cuts and other movies and VODs added to it in order to make it more theatrical in general, this Lost Belt. And then, what makes it very enticing is that you can experience the travel with battles as well. It says, like how about in this scenario, we have this little adventurous part or this experience here and there. While thinking about what we need to do, having game system and scenario thought on the spot, Moss. It says whenever Moss came into scenario, in order to get the characters and the settings right, Moss would always have special damage against fairies, and every time they do damage, you get cursed kind of deal. I think that will be pretty awesome. And other things like that, putting scenario timelines, time limits, turn severity to a certain extent to make it more that you are experiencing the story, and making sure that the writer part of the portion is being not lost in the overall blandness of being in a battle. So I can definitely see that every single one of them. So essentially, right here, he's talking about how they want to incorporate more of the battles to be more smooth. It feels like you're playing and living it at the same time. And it's not like you're killing regular ads, right? Like, they don't want you to kill regular wyverns 24/7. They wanted to make it so that they are wyverns, but they're befitted to the story, and they make it so that you are experiencing what they're talking about in story. そのように刺激し、FGO に限らずゲームをプレイしていると、シナリオやバトルなどで応じる上がるとか辛いとかいった感情が大量発生しますよね。FGO ではシナリオをゲームに落とし込む場合に、その祈祷に演じた行動を意識しています。バトルの難易度のその一つで、最強との敗北戦でテンションを下げておいて、リベンジ戦でバーンと盛り上げるというような川を作っています。また、上げも下げも重要ですが、同じように演技が続かないことも大事で、あり得て、小数レールをリズムに変えてもいったりします。So it says, we made sure that there are some battles that are very difficult and lower the tensions during one of the ultimate battles. That's a little too loud, Swiper. It says, lower the tension purposefully by fighting an unstoppable enemy, and then during like a revenge match, you can just kind of, hype up and take all your frustrations out on that battle. I believe that's the Burgess fight. It says, that's one of the strategies that we've created and we made. Going up and down in tensions is important, but simultaneously, the right timing at the right place of both music and theatrical play within the story is very important as well. And here and there, after all a theatrical play, giving a short break in order to maintain the rhythm or in order to recover from whatever you've experienced. So it says during the part 2 at August 4th, you're going to have a coronation. It says, did you prepare the coronation with part 1 and part 2 already in mind? It says during the coronation of the story, it is very important to the entire FGO user, and I wanted everybody in the user to experience it all simultaneously at the same time, in my opinion. But LB6 is very long in scenario, so I do understand that moving towards a specific location will be very difficult, and there will be time and lag. So we made sure that we could take some rest, so the people who are a little bit slower can definitely catch up. It says by doing so, afterwards, it says by finishing the scenario, you guys can kind of wait, farm. And get everything of your feelings all set up. Then all together this time at the last. So this coronation is the last of LB6. It says in the end, when all the users finally has reached a goal, they can all enjoy the coronation together. That is what we have planned. It's a little bit forceful. I do concurrently agree, but by doing this. By doing this, people would understand each other, and people that are both slow and fast can get to know, can get to be on the same platform to an extent without, and also be less spoiled as much as possible. Now, it's funny because you see this shit, right? So they are trying to do anti-spoilers, which is really cool. But at the same time, there's too many cocksuckers out there that they can't. They can try to suppress the spoilers, but there's too many cocksuckers out there. They're gonna be hard to, it's gonna be a tough battle. But one of the reasons why they made it so it's part 1, part 2 coronation is to make sure that everybody kind of catches up by then to prevent major spoiler kind of being spoiled right off the bat. So assume that we're gonna get more of part 1, part 2 coronation kind of deal. So this is in order to prevent major spoilers from happening. It says during LB6, when creating it, you said you were going to do some new mechanics. What is the new mechanics exactly are we going to talk about? During the Grail War 1, right, the AKA frontline, and I don't know where's the during the frontline and the quote unquote imaginary seabed or imaginary whatever, right? We want to make sure FGO has some new game system every so often to enjoy not just FGO in general, but not your usual typical FGO in general. A lot of people would say in the FGO community, it says it'll get boring if we just do the same thing. And so they are hoping that we do new things, and we want to answer that call. So a lot of people, because y'all motherfuckers saying game's dead, kick W, they've come up with a middle finger to your faces, which is very good. I mean, they probably already do it. He's just saying it because there is a lot of topic that's saying that they're getting tired of the same thing over and over. So we wanted to do our best to spice up things a little bit here and there. We wanted the Holy Grail frontline to be not only FGO users, but fake fan in general be able to be enticed with the current content with a set of rules of the classic 1v1s instead of this 3v3 battles. And then it's one of those things in order to the Fate Grand the front war, right? The Grail front. The Grail front is to try to cater towards the Fate fans, the 1v1s. 1v1s, not 1v5, excuse me. The term came out of nowhere there. they wanted to respect the 1v1s to the fans, and then also like you can do like 2v1 and 3v1, or like 2v2, 3v3. But you have to like have all your shit set up to pull that off. You're most likely gonna be having this, right? If not, it's gonna be like 1v2 or something like that. So yeah, it just definitely says that right here that they wanted Fate fans to enjoy this new content for them. It says when the Grail Front came out for the first time, it was so surprising to experience such a game. Yeah, it felt like a fresh new game experience. It says, yeah, after all, the entire existence of a Grail Front can definitely be ported into a completely different game in the system. Essentially, chat, I'm going to tell you, arcade is going to be your best fucking thing to be a Grail Front. Our Grail Front's going to be our best choice of arcade. そのため、10夜かなり大変でした。そこから2回目以降は全体への浸透にもアップグレードをして進めています。So it says, yeah, creating the basis and creating it from scratch was the hardest thing that we ever done. It was very difficult. The creation of itself was the most hardest hurdle. But other than that, from the second time onwards, we're making it so it's improved upon. It's going to be improved upon next time around for every other Grail War. It says from 3 and onwards, there wasn't a lot of method where Master will be destroying the enemy boss. 3回目まではマスターが敵を直接攻撃して倒す戦術が足取っていましたね。So it says, yeah, until the third time, it seems that you could attack Master with the enemy boss for a easy win. It says, well, at first, your enemy was Munieru, and it was just a predicted outcome. And then after the event, they would research what sort of movements that a lot of the users did, and we adjusted the AI accordingly and buffed them to a point where it is, so they will move exactly different from the last time. By the way, you can still use Master to directly attack Caesar during the Caesar fight, but if you've noticed already, during the Merlin fight, that option has diminished quite a lot. It says the reason for that is because we discussed it with Mr. Type Moon, and the concept of a lot of user wants to punch Merlin right in the fucking face, but Merlin will probably use his pawns to try to tease us and pisses us off. And so we wanted to make sure that concept was kept in play, and we were laughing at it while we were creating this AI. Damn, dude. So essentially, yeah. If you guys have noticed, like, it's actually hard to go face with Master. And this is a very important topic, too, that during the first 2 Grail War, you can kind of fuck around and get your Master to go face to Merlin. But yeah, during the Merlin Grail War, you can't use face, right? Hey, thanks for the follow. Persuade Dono. And then the fact that Type Moon and the others were talking about the user wants to punch Merlin in the face. But Merlin's probably going to be good at using his pawns to his advantage. So he'll probably move AI to an extent. Keck W. I see. So you're changing the characteristics and personalities of the AI to fit the character. It says... It says during that phase, aka 3, right? We imagined Merlin and we thought about the strongest round table. We wanted to make sure that it was a little bit of a different battle system than others, and I wanted everybody to enjoy the struggle of trying to fight somebody who actually had some tactics. And then I wanted to, we wanted, our hope was to use other servants that hadn't had a usable opportunity, and if they could add it to this war roster, was our best wishes. It says, because of this event, I used different servants in order to achieve such goal more often than ever before. It says, in my personal opinion, I believe Hercules is one of the most powerful creatures to bust out during the Grail front line. It says on the Fate Grand, the frontline system, Hercules is definitely going to be the easily predicted outcome to go for an easy win. Everybody will probably say, I guess I'll pull Hercules just in case, will be the system. And in the development team, I believe that is a viable choice, and we will try to do our best not to harm it. So it's essentially, they already know that if you use Hercules, you know you like to go face. They already know that you a bitch. But at the same time, like, they're saying that it's an option, right? Like, they're not mad about it. They're not sad about it. It's like, I think it's a viable option to get through the circumstances because it is what it is. It says, will you continue front line? Yes, we want to continue it. We have more dreams and other, we have many different dreams and other criteria, and I want to do a Holy Grail War. Ooh, I do like how he said that, because if you don't know, this is Holy Frontline. Mr. Kano wants a Holy Grail War. Mr. Kano is looking for an actual Grail War and not the front line. While he wants a front line, he wants to create another game of Holy Grail War. So expect something cool in the future that involves a Holy Grail War. And it's funny because it says, putting that aside, will it become reality? Currently, we are creating a irregular real-time battle, aka arcade chat. So irregular real-time battle is what we are thinking of. So there might be some this sounds PvP to me. Uh-oh. This sounds PvP to me. This entire structure smells PvP. It says, within a limited amount of space, you could manifest and create your own personal best and fight with the specific battles and sets and win against other masters and, stack up your winnings. Something like that. Of course, if you really like the, 本当に好きな人、本当に好きな人、どうしてもあればリアルタイムで、リアルタイムでと盛り上がるかもしれません。So it's most likely going to be, you get a specific criteria, right? Like, it's going to be either a same servant versus same servant, right? So that means like it's like, you know that in Pokemon, you go to that special island and you can't use your Pokemon. You have to use what they give you. I forgot what that shit is. The Island of Trails. It's that, it's the one where you just, like, you get to pick your Pokemons. Yeah, the Battle Frontier. You know the part where it tests your trainer skills and not the Pokemon skills, right? So you can't bring your, like, level 100 OP broken-ass Pokemon. It's one of those, Mr. Kano is thinking of something like that, right? A PvP where, PvP turn-based, where two people would get a certain certain servants and certain characters that they want and they like. They don't know each other's servants, and they just kind of play it out to their heart's content, right? Some people will get a class advantage. Some people will not get class advantage. Overall, it's a random ass Pokemon. So it's essentially random ass servants and your master skills to be tested. And yes, Rio has predicted this from day fucking one. That's funny as shit. So they're thinking of something PvP to an extent. Not like, oh, PvP, but just maybe PvP. Is it going to be like 2020 April Fool's FGO Minecraft kind of deal? It says, to be honest, yes. It says, Yoshikiが犬の思考に勝てる AI を作るのは非常に困難なので、リアルタイムで対戦の方が作りやすいとは思います。ただ FGO というフィールドでは、非常同士が非常同期の方が合ってるように感じます。対戦に不滅の人もいますからね。そうですね。もともと FGO は一人で好きな時間に遊ぶというコンセプトがありまして、フレンドのつながりも URL に目を通してそれを測定しています。そこは変えられない方がいいかなと。とはいえ、やってみたいなことはあるので、開発チームの中で実験しているつもりです。lol. So yeah, it's essentially, it says, we want, to be perfectly honest, we want something like that, but creating an AI that can beat a human mind is a very difficult task irregularly. I believe creating a real-time battle will be easier than creating an AI that can beat a human mind. But I believe, yeah, the irregular timing and irregular setup using FGO in this field will be the right choice. It says, yeah, there's going to be a lot of people against this PvP option. I agree. It says, and then it says, I agree with that. After all, FGO's concept is have fun whenever you got the time. Concept as in friends, and you can connect with your friends. Connect with friends and others to help each other out and talk about the topics and the stories and events and the struggles that they're having. We are not going to change that whatsoever. But it would be nice to trial out here and there every so often. Currently, we're going to be creating our own little private servers to test things out. Lol. So, a hint of PvP. But it's further into the future. It says, I'm excited to see what the future is. It says, yeah, there's good feelings about it and good vibes about it, and there are a lot of people against it as well. This will be a difficult ground to talk about, but I believe that there's going to be many different ways we can enjoy FGO in general, and that's what we are that's the direction we're going with. Yeah, with all the experiences and other experimental gameplay that we've tried before, we want to make sure that we want to enjoy and raise up the game levels and bases to a higher degree. Yeah, how we can cultivate it and then rise, level up by creating on the side. I'm excited to what is to come later on. Uh, 近いところでは降臨戦で同時にバトルインを攻略をよりメリットがある形にしていきたいですね。So yeah, they're just trying to make it so that right now they're going to be focusing on Front Grail Wars. They are trying to make more stuff, essentially, right? They're essentially trying to make more cool stuff. PvP is a KEKW concept at the moment, but they want to have something PvP-esque, but not really because it's very difficult to make AIs that's stronger than human minds. At the same time, they want real-time battle instead of anything because it's easier to make it like that. But yeah, first they're going to be concentrating on Holy Grail front, which is good. But at the same time, we want to try to get others to merit in, so it will be useful and better like Holy Grail front. 相手が複数でこちらが1体だと全体宝具で一気にというメリットがありますが、反対の場合はデメリットになるんですよね。そうなんですよ。FGO だからこそ考えるという複数サーメントが入り入れるシステムなので、今ばらけさせようというこちらの風船で一気に攻めようといった感じで、一体機でのフォーメーションを考えていくのではなく、もう少し戦術の服を広がる遊び方を盛り込みたいと思います。And like currently, this PvP, right? They're trying to put the PvP into the Grail front line too, so that it's going to be a PvP Grail front, right? It's going to be PvP Grail front online with limited servants. Yeah, with limited servants. Or what they want to do is PvP online limited servants or not limited servants. And they kind of make you they kind of make you go fuck yourself and Wales win. Because Wales will probably bust out level 100 bullshit. But they'll probably the first few PvP will consist of Wales going out of control. But after like couple researches, I think they're gonna patch it so like a certain servant's gonna be limited level, right? Like limited to a 80 or 70 or fucking 100 or some shit like that, so that it doesn't constitute as Wales win all the time. Of course, MP wise, I think they'll fucking let that slide to flex on the Wales, but yeah, they're just kind of figuring it out. そうなんですよ。FCO から考えてる復讐のサーマンと今のばらけようとしてる。So yeah, they're thinking about Holy Grail frontline PvP online, which is pretty cool. But at the same time, that it is going to take works. It is going to take time. They want to make Holy Grail Frontline better and add PvP implementation. Just for fun, of course. That's actually terrible for FGO? Not really. Because it's not a PvP battle. It's more of a PvP Holy Grail war, right? So it's like playing chess. It's like PvP for playing chess. But yeah, most likely the fucking Wales will rule over it. But remember, Holy Grail Frontline is only going to be limited event, right? And there's probably going to be the option where you can just play by yourself like a loner or try to compete with other MP5, 10, 10, 10, level 100 bullshitters. But it's still in the works. It's not going to come out anytime soon. It's just a dream that they're having. But they'll still be focusing on the concept of the solo gameplay, the loner gameplay. Is this about FGO or another game? We're talking about just like none of this is happening, by the way, right? I don't want you all fucking typing in. I bet one of you motherfuckers are writing in Reddit be like, FGO is dead. PvP implementation coming in hot soon near you. Bitch, you didn't fucking clearly read and understood the story, okay? They're thinking about a PvP implementation, but they won't be putting that implementation anytime soon. They would like something like that because it would be pretty cool because you get to see a Holy Grail war. But right now, they're going to stay with the core concept of FGO of fighting against AI and playing whenever you got the time. they're hoping that they can, get to a level where they can do this thing with no problem. But that's just, that's just wishful thinking. But they're thinking about new ways to create more content, not just PvP. They just talked about a little bit more in PvP and Holy Grail Frontline. That's it. They're thinking that it would be cool, but we still got to figure out, like we can't let AIs, handle everything, because AIs are not going to beat the humans anytime soon. Simultaneously, it's easier to create a server of PvP than fucking creating an AI that can beat humans' ass with a spatula. At the same time, they want to add AI personalities. So, like, the Merlin AI acted like a Merlin AI, and like the future AI is gonna act like their servant personnel, which is pretty cool. But there's nothing that PvP is coming soon, but they're kind of thinking, and it's in the backworks of doing a PvP. This is, they want to do something more like that, right? So they want like a Holy Grail war where you got one servant and then you like 6 others got one servant, and then you kind of like fuck around here and there. But anyway, this is I believe the Waltz collab with collab with Waltz. FGO COD, that'd be pretty cool. No PvP, I mean, you're not gonna stop them, and they're just, it's just up in the air for fun. Not PvP is not coming anytime soon. That's all I'm gonna tell you. We're moving on. It says, excited for Miss Kasumi's songs, aka the FGO World collab. In this one year, what is the servant that you remember specifically that's on your mind? The deep memory that I have is a FGO collab, Echan Mixa, aka Mysterious Idol Alter. After all, Miss Kasumi has sing a song especially for this event, and you get to hear her sing, and the event itself was one of my favorites. During creation, I totally forgot for a brief moment that this was a FGO product at one point, Keck W. It says from the vibe, right? Thanks for the follow. It says from the vibe, it looked completely different from FGO. It's correct. Currently, currently when I saw the script and the scenario first time, I asked them, what on earth is this? Isn't this for idol stuff? Did we get the wrong? Did we get the wrong script from a different company? When I saw what was inside and what was going to be discussed, I was very surprised to hear about it. Then from there, we started thinking, what's the specialty when it comes to idols? While we were thinking and while we were discussing and coming up with other ideas and other systems on this event, while we were discussing on this specific event, the center effect has the center effect was born due to the fact of what we've discussed ourselves what an idol is. It says, like, during the live battles, a center character will have their own song being played. It says, if you want to get an idol event shown during battle, we need to hype it up wherever they are during their hypest moment. I believe getting their own song to play in the last wave or the, the most climax area would be the great choice, is what we've talked about it. And then after that, we started planning accordingly. So it says, so the system was all derivative and it came from the idol itself. Hey, thanks for the follow. Because of that, The system has because of this, the system has expanded, and you guys did a fantastic job. During that event, it was an event to see Echan grow. Watching her mature as an idol, in order to make sure that happen, we had battles, music. We made all those originally to fit the needs. Other things like 印象的なサーベントを挙げるなら、予想以上に人気が出た怪島ドーマンもかなり印象深かったですね。It says, we had other impressions and we wanted to bust out more impressionable servants. Funny thing, the more underwhelmingly popular servant, Ashima Doman, was very impressionable at first. 若干ミーム化してましたね。みんながしか言わなくなってた。It says, that is correct. At one point, after 5.5, a portion of the fan base would only say all day. It was pretty funny. It's essentially, it became a meme where everybody just started saying It says during 5.5, whenever he says his last thing, he has a dialogue that is very impressive. When I saw him up till now, I hated him from the bottom of the heart. But after reading and understanding what he said before his exit, I could not hate him any longer. I hated him, but I couldn't fully hate him any longer as I did for before. So I really think that the writers are very wonderful and have many different balance in having character impressions and character movements to kind of show a resilience and unique individual characters can be. Because of that, when it comes to personality of Doman, I have kept my tongue rolled up. So essentially, Mr. Kano hated Doman, but 5.5, while he hated Doman still, didn't fully hate him anymore. It says, on that other note, when it comes to, your development team, what's the servant you had the hardest this year? It's definitely Fairy Lancelot for sure. As I've talked before, a lot of us have worked put in a lot of effort towards LB6 in general this year. Especially the Fairy Lancelot was Fairy Lancelot was very decisive and depictive, and Mr. Nasu himself has made sure that certain things were to be aligned at certain points. And we had and because of that we had very difficult agreeing and disagreeing. We were having struggles trying to show the most powerful and beautiful creature on the fairyland and how we can implement it and show it on the screen, aka in the story. I went back and forth. I remember trying to explain things to others and Mr. Nasu, and it was one of the hardest struggle we've had. It still lingers in my memory. The very hardest part for sure is the Ascension changes and the Noble Phantom changes. That one was the hardest one we've ever faced so far. It says the Fairy Lancelot's by Fairy Lancelot existing, it seems that the servant's abilities and basis has almost gone to the next generation as that impression. Will this be the base from now on? It says Lancelot was the most hardest, longest servant that needed time and effort to create. So if this becomes a base, unfortunately to say, the servants that are coming out from now on will have numbers significantly decreased. Lol. Of course, we're going to make sure that other servants will have these battle systems and noble phantom changes every so often. But a new era of battle system has definitely arrived for sure. So essentially, Nasu here, not Nasu, Mr. Kano, our god, is practically saying Lancelot was the hardest thing to create. Took forever. Had to tussle with Mr. Nasu himself a little bit here and there, and just probably just coding the ascension changes and noble phantasm changes was a bitch. And if they were to keep making that type, they're just saying that if we were to replicate Lancelot types, and if that's going to be the norm, they're going to have so many more servants, so many less new servants pop up. And so while that's not happening anytime soon, he did specifically says that Noble Phantasm changes and these battle systems, right? These little battle systems has entered a new age. Like, he is admitting that FGO's battle system will reach a new age. It's just that don't expect, Lancelot types every day, right? Don't expect that you're going to see a Noble Phantasm Ascension switcheroo 24/7. But that means that there's going to be one later down the road. The reason why you changed your Noble Phantasm, did that Noble Phantasm switches have any thought process or any deal to go with the level 90 plus node quests that you've recently created? It's not just that, but to a certain extent, while we were thinking about how you can, beat quests and how you can enjoy the game to a certain aspect, we definitely had that in mind to a degree. It says there's some other quests and other things that not AoEs but single targets. Yeah. We want to create an environment where not AoE will thrive all the time, but single target Noble Phantasm will thrive as much as the Noble Phantasm of AoE. We want more variations in battles, so you will use different servants, so you can use other servants in your need instead of just essentially, Mr. Kano is saying there's going to be more nodes that's going to require you single target. There's going to be more nodes that might probably require you to use AoE. They want more single target Noble Phantasm being used as much as AoEs to clear farming in general. It says I do. So right here, we're here. Says, thanks for the follow. Email Arts Big Pre. Oh. But yeah, has the bug patch? I think so. They did tell us something about that. I'm not sure for certain, so make sure I'll check it out later. But it says, because of that, we'll be able to use many variety of servants, and the fun would definitely grow for certain. そして、お正月に登場となった千字村正の力を入れたサーベントの一機となります。特にフェイというファンさんは希望に一機でありますし、タイムーンさんにもとってもこだわり強いサーベントのかんざしも厳しいだった印象です。同時にピックアップした5の星春の前十の相性も良いこともありますし、まさに千住村正のための正月になりました。I don't know what the 3 one is. Arts up, MP up, overcharge, arts and sign up. Oh, he's talking about the So he said, yeah, he wants to make it so it's convenient for not only he just made it so that he wanted to make sure that everything goes in place. Yeah, the string of the Koto strings, aka Haruno. Yeah. So yeah, it's essentially he wants more convenience, right? He was explaining how convenience and the January New Year's and Senji Muramasa was one of the servants that we wanted to try out. It is a Fate fans, one of the favorites, right? One of the favorites of the Fate fans, and it was a Type Moon's very distinctive servant and very strong. But when it comes to directing, it was a very difficult servant to kind of, throw out. But at the same time, because of the existence of this craft essence, right? Springtime of Koto Koto Springs, the January anniversary, the January of this year became the month, at least for the day of Muramasa. Because if you had Muramasa and if you have MLB, right, you practically fucking, you practically made your fucking Muramasa OP. You could MLB this and have Muramasa OP as fuck. Sure, it's not esports, but it's still pretty good, right? A lot of people would only look at this and be like, Keck W, not esports. But the effect here definitely supported Muramasa. And then that's what he's talking about, having more gameplay varieties and enjoying more servants and craft essence by giving, different actual attributes and fun times. Are you talking what? You do realize once you become a third ascension, you can't go back to third ascension, right? Is that what you're talking about? Because the bug, the bug that some people are talking about is that they instantly charge after the single target, or the ascension just doesn't change. And if it does change, you're not going to change back your ascension. But anyway. It says, the servant, the servants, went to a new stage, the higher stage, in order to get your servants to get MP gain. 保護を打ちやすい良さが以前にも格アップしています。その点、過去のサーベントと差が違って広がっていると感じます。It says recently the servants, right, being able to use own noble, can gain noble phantasm very easily and charge noble phantasm and shoot noble phantasm differently from like the previous years before. Can you explain us from how why this has been the case and we are allowing this to happen? As a base, if you have a noble phantasm, MP 獲得の手段はスキル強化などであるほどのたやすい必要性があると考えています。前で MP をくすぐるタイプとそうではないタイプが仕組みできるラインはあるのでしょうが、それを含まれて全てのサーベントのが過去のしたまま、現在も公開するのが厳しくため、強化クエストを増やしていく、したりしています。Oh, okay, okay. So essentially, they're saying that they're going to make it that so you can noble phantasm. They're going to give servants and other abilities to kind of able to shoot noble phantasm easier and faster. Whenever it comes to gaining MP, I believe our best option is to strengthen the skills, and that will be the best way to make that possible. There are types that can generate MP by themselves, and there are types that they're not. There's some fine line between those certain types, but we're trying to make it so that all the servants, including the past ones, are able to go on this new path of able to retain some MP, if not able to capable more. We'll be able to capable of MP more. But those who are still struggling, we are planning to have more strengthening quests to be added. So here, chat, make sure that says it right here. Expect more strengthening quests in the future. So more strengthening quests on the older servants in order for you to get more beneficiary. That's going to be pretty good. So it says, yeah, there's going to be more strengthening quests to servants. 最近は意識的に MP 手段を増やしていることですかが、現在の環境に合わせて調整でいっています。宝具は以前より使いやすくなっていると思いますが、反面バトルの難易度を上げてバランスを調整すると思っています。Yes. It says, recently, I feel like gaining MP and able to MP is much easier than any of the years previously before. It says, correct. We're currently adjusting our environment with the current, We're currently adjusting the environment to be more beneficial to all. This is for certain that you can now use Noble Phantasm better than ever before. But because of this, we are now able to increase the battle parameters and the difficulties to adjust and balance out the game in general. So, TLDR, we can Noble Phantasm easier, prepare a harder battle, which is really good. I like that. Like, you know, it's making it more challenging, but at the same time, you can spam more Noble Phantasm. It says during 2.6, during one of the battles, there were 4+ enemies all of a sudden showing up. Yeah, during one of the enemies, 4+ more enemies showed up out of nowhere. It seems that more Arts Noble Phantasm and Quick Noble Phantasm will be useful later down the line. It says, yes, that is one of the new mechanics that we're thinking of in the future as well. Yes, currently, right now, Arts and Quick are very strong, but I believe there are more. I believe there will be a new wave of Buster, perhaps coming later into the future. Damn. So, I can almost tell you, this is not talking about Tamamovich. This is not just Vich. Not just Vich, chat. So prepare more fucking... Prepare more fucking whatchamacallit. More Buster servants. We're gonna get another Buster support? Maybe. My guess is we're probably gonna get a Buster offense that'll like probably gain MP every time it kills something. Currently, we're all high and mighty in the Arts Festival with Castoria, and with a lot of Castoria being friends listed, it's very secluded, in my honest opinion. But our role is to put other our goal is to put other characters, variety of supports in the roster. So currently, Mr. Kano is like, bruh, too many Castorias are in the friends list. We're going to change that soon enough. 特にフレンドを最適にするお気に入りの機能があれば嬉しいのですが、お気に入りのフレンドを一番に上に置くとかですよね。実は話にも出ていましたが、実写で作った覚えもあるでもしかしたら、今後も実際するかもしれません。So essentially it says, I wish there will be an option where we can use friends as like push. Remember there's push? Remember where there's push where you can put one servant in a push where you get this special symbol that says, that's my favorite, right? Like, for instance, that's my daughter, right? So essentially, the question is being interviewed as, I do hope that there is a function later in the future that allows to get your favorites in the front of the friends list if you wanted to set it that way. It says, yeah, by putting your favorites in the front of the friends list, that has been discussed before. We've created a draft works for it, so perhaps it might occur later in the future. So there might be an option where you can use your husbandos and waifus that you've, selected and just kind of, mess around with it. So that's pretty cool. Another way to enjoy the game, which is great. Meaning that you get to play with, your friends' like best servant or their best, character and have fun, and you can make a whole roster of it. Just like Hassan, no, it's not gonna be like 50% each kill. It probably will be like 33% each kill times 3. If not, it'll probably be like 22. Yeah, I think it might be 22, like 22 or 25% per kill. And because with this new mechanic of like 4 enemies and more, there's a possibility where, you can just as a buster, kill like 5 enemies in a row and then just gain 25 per kill or 10 per kill. So you can charge back up to 50. Okay, so yeah. Please forgive me for this question that I'll be asking. It seems that during 2020 forward, the servant arrival pace has significantly gone down. Can you explain exactly what is happening? Due to the fact that we were concentrating on finishing Lost Belt 6 for the most of the part, at the very first of the schedule, we were not able to concentrate any of them on a servant, but trying to finish the story part first. That was one of our biggest, that was probably one of our biggest problems. この事項で見越して1.5のボリュームをこなせるような体制を作っていたのですが、それでもカバーできませんでした。もう少し調整期が必要ですね。So it says, but in honesty, we made enough staffs and we made enough volumes and time frames that we should have been able to hold about 1.5, the load amount, but unfortunately that could not cover whatsoever. It seems that we need a little bit more time to adjust. It seems we need a little bit more time to adjust to kind of get back to our usual programs and further beyond. It says, yeah, looking at Lancelot once again, fairy type, it seems that the cost or creation price of one servant is going to be significantly going to be higher than before. It says, サイコーリンで姿が変わるタイプのサーバントは、その霊気の数だけ新しいサーバントを作っていると同情以上のコストがかかります。その他にもバトルキャラクターのギミックを増やすと、その分モデリングの作業も入りますし、アニメーションの作業も増えるなど、1機あたりの動力が往復に増えていっています。フェリーランチロットに至ってはトータルで普通のおよそ Oh, damn! So, yeah, anything that changes in Ascension type servants, anything that, by just changing Ascension type, it's almost as if you're creating 2 servants and the cost would significantly go up. Simultaneously adding battle gimmicks to that specific character, requires additional modeling and simultaneously additional animation. Therefore, the cost amount of one servant are getting significantly higher each time. Currently, in regular, compared to the regular servants that we used to make, Lancelot is 5 times the extra amount. Oh my god. That makes sense. So yeah, the reason why we're not getting a lot of servants is just because Lancelot fucking ate so much goddamn resource. So Lancelot ate 5 times as much of creating a regular servant. So if you want to create a regular servant, I think they can pump it out pretty easily now. But when it comes to a new concept battle gimmick and a new type servant, they've realized that it cost a fuck ton to create. So essentially, they were definitely banking on Lancelot, and they were definitely banking on Tamamo. And then you would notice that Tamamo didn't have a Noble Phantasm change, right? But her Ascension change, which is understandable. It is a shame that Tamamo didn't get the changing Ascension, but LB6 is very important right now. So Lancelot getting it is also very important too. So. It says from here on out, if we are wanting more richness in each of the servants, it seems that the servant, the amount of servant we'll be getting is small. Sounds like we're about to get less and less smaller doses of servants. Do you, may I ask, has the development team done something about it or thought of something about it? 単純に開発ラインを増やそうという話もありますし、クオリティラインの見極めや開発フォローを見直しなど行いながら、やっぱりサーベントについてはユーザーさんの皆さんに答えるようにしていきたいと考えています。So it says, essentially this question is, what are you going to do about it, right? I've heard that this richness, right, the 5 times the amount of regular servants is done by Fairy Lancelot. What are you going to do about it? And says that we're just genuinely going to increase more manpower, right? We're going to genuinely increase the more manpower, and the development team will probably expand about a couple fold. We want definitely, we do not want to lose quality, so we want to make sure that our quality line is perfected, and while, going and following up the developmental phase, we definitely want to, for sure, when it comes to serving manifestation or creation, we want to answer the user's expectation from the future and onward, right? So, positive vibes. Mr. Kano is that, Mr. Kano is like, we're going to get more people, essentially. He is planning on getting more fucking people to work on so essentially, Mr. Kano might become a mafia boss, right? He might become a mafia boss. He might actually literally become a god of operation. They'll end up with 8 developers? Yes. I mean, well, I'll talk about it later. But anyway, it says when it talks about it, there is a impression of any impression that has left you on an event, please let me know. The Imaginary Scramble definitely able to open up the hidden path with a quote-unquote search. That system is one of the most intriguing one for sure. Like, the map was looking like a blank canvas and a blank eye until you use a sonar system. You couldn't know what's going on. While we were creating this, we were making sure that everything was safe and sound, everything was diligent, and created the map. 最終的なネタばらしの時はそうきたかと驚いたマスターも多かったと。In the very end, when the spoilers came out, a lot of the master would probably been surprised. It says it would be greatly appreciated if they were. It says when it comes to mapping, definitely Imaginary Scramble and the Servant Summer Camp is one of the most impressionable one that we remember. Of course, over here we made sure that we that was funny. It says because it says we wanted to make sure that you guys were not you guys were confused having 2 of the same maps together. in order to have the same maps together, try not to get found out. We were trying to get our story in place while diligently placing careful placements so people won't find out as much as they could. But unfortunately, while we were successful, a lot of the people have called us and called us and emailed us of that it might have been a bug. So it was kind of a hassle and it was problematic. Lol. So yeah, if you remember the summer camp event, remember when we changed genders, right? Everybody thought changing the gender was like a bug that was going on, but it's essentially it was an event gimmick. It says that it was a success, but it was in the end, it was a weirdly successful, correct? It says, when it comes to animations and shows where masters sex change, when it comes to the writers, we made sure and discussed it thoroughly and in detailed how it was going to happen. We concluded with let's try it out to see how it goes in the end topic, but it was a difficult decision in the very end. We had other problematic circumstances, for instance, that the development team got confused sometimes of which conversation which side that the conversation was pertaining on. And while the development team went over it, there were some meshes and other stories that had kind of slipped by and did not intersect. It was very difficult. It was very difficult to cultivate and create and ship out. It was very hassle and very troubling, but we were able to create a structural storyline that would have been almost impossible to spoil. We made it so that the story is on a perspective of one person, but technically the perspectives was two different beings. In essence, it was a new challenge for not only the story reader, but the development side as well. It says during the scenario, right? During the scenario, there was this videotape that was super spooky created. So it said the initial one was more gory and fucked up. The initial one was more gory and fucked up, and had more expression on the VOD. But Mr. Type Moon knocked on our door and said, "Nah." Mr. Type Moon's reversal and revisal, it ended up surreal and kind of to that extent has toned down. But it's still scary that you see some rooms and you see some VOD on a TV with some noise. The imagination would definitely run more wild. But it says, at first it was a Hollywood-style horror, but in the newest one, it was a Japanese horror for sure.習慣はタイプンさんっぽいなという気がします。想像余地がしっかりあるほど、ある方が良い怖いですよね。このイベントは僕の中であるシナリオの中で一番になるくらい好みな内容だと思います。So it says, the first one was a Hollywood horror version, but the second one was a Japanese horror version for sure. That says you're exactly correct. While we were discussing with Mr. Type Moon, Mr. Type Moon specifically said we needed users that are reading to imagine and be impressionable but simultaneously will show enough will show enough expressions and other important details to enjoy the view, aka enjoy the screen. That is a lot of that's a lot of the conversation that Mr. Moon will talk about. Now that I looked back at it after Mr. Type Moon has fixed the video, and it's very Mr. Type Moon like, in my opinion. After all, if there's VODs, right? If there's VODs more than voices, it's much more scarier and it would be more impressionable to a lot of people. In my honest opinion, this is one of the best scenario. One of the best scenario. Ranking number 1 as one of my favorites. It says, the feedback and the other side and just the scenario entirely was fantastic. It says, we wanted to balance the scenario so that it's not all about horror, and we had some little vacation, stupefaction of like in the afternoon, you want to cook something and enjoy in the enjoy in the afternoon, but during the evening, some random unidentified creature will show up every so often, and a horror experience will be brought out at night. I really like the tug of war of balanced the balanced comedies and horrors that was added into it. My favorite scene definitely during the event cut was very impressionable for everything, but one of my favorite and one of the scariest thing that I've to experience was the Spartacus, Christopher Columbus, and William Tell, 3 of them coming out from the door. The 3 of them coming out of door out of nowhere and break through the door. This one. I've commented, while laughing and commenting on it, while imagining that specific place. In my honest opinion, I think that was the scariest time that I've ever had in the game. While having some emotional coaster ride, in the very end, it was a very satisfying ending. And Miss Yofuku, aka Good-san, aka Consort Yu, had a very aka Jing, right? Jing and Consort Yu's relationship was seen and shown very wholesome, and in the end, it was a very good story that rounded up very nicely.去年はエキシビジョンクエストが登場するネオ開催担当というイベントがありましたね。去年についてはネオサイトの監視にネコバニーというお気を書いております。そもそもスタートとしてボックス系のイベントの攻略に時間かかるエキシビションクエストは相性より良くないと開示して、ボックス系のイベントはもう少し軽やかに攻略できるコンテンツをつけた方がいいと思っています。エキシビションクエストのギミックが空散されてきたため、もっと多くの人に戦力の下が伝わりやすいものはないかと分散して、必要ものもwhere is it says during the there's a lot of exhibition quests that came out in the Narrow Festival. For sure, it says last year instead of this Narrow Festival was definitely the shadow, the country of shadows, the land of shadows, quote unquote, little festival, the cat and the bunny and the Holy Grail War. そもそもスタートとしてボックス系のイベントが黒くする対象が良くない。ボックス系のイベントにはもう少しお手軽な攻略できるコンテンツを加えていいとは考えます。Oh, damn, nice. That's actually really good. I like how he gets it. It says during the box type events, I believe a exhibition quest is not a good match, right? Not a good match, and affinity whenever you're farming boxes. So whenever it comes to box type events, I believe we should have an exhibition quest still, but more easier to understand, but difficult, more difficult to understand, but easy to solve, in my honest opinion. After all, the exhibition quest gimmick has been very complex to the point of no return that we wanted to make sure that a lot of people will have a gimmick to fight instead of actually trying to fight an exhibition quest. So essentially here, Mr. Kano says during a lotto box, it's now getting difficult to do exhibition quests because it's getting more complicated. And now that he looks at it and he's now in full control, the affinity during the lotto quest, during the challenge quest is, their affinity is actually shit, right? And that's why he's kind of saying that we're kind of come up with a easier content, but still more of answering riddles, right? So that more people would enjoy the different exhibition type, but could still farm in the boxes. I see. So you're going to, you're going to look at the game service and the game balance overall. And that says, 新たな聖杯戦争という仕組みを作り、その中でボックスを開封に手術できるようし直したというわけです。ただ、現在では法律戦の歴史も長くなってきたので、いろいろと再検討中です。もし次にエキシビジョンクエストが起こるときには、バトルニューヨークようにエンタメの性があるギミックでコンセプトからうまく作っていきたいなと思います。なるほど。今後はすべて聖杯戦争に切り替わって、今度はすべて技術し、エキシビジョンやりたいという思いので続けていくつもりです。So essentially, they're going to try to get lottos, right? A lot of the lottos are going to be starting to get replaced by the Holy Grail front line. So they've realized that the challenge quests are getting harder and harder, and the more gimmick they add, the more time they'll take. So what they're going to do is they're going to start replacing the challenge quest to a Holy Grail front line, and they'll put a challenge quest on a gimmick type. So essentially, you're probably going to be farming and doing like challenge quests. So expect more challenge quests in regular events than in lottos, because Mr. Kano specifically said, I understand that you guys want to farm lotto. So there, he knows. Our boy knows. You know what I'm saying? Our boy knows that fuck Grail, fuck exhibition match. But, Holy Grail is a one-time, 1 hour, not too hard, right? So they're saying that we're going to replace exhibition match with a Holy Grail frontline. A lot more. So challenge quest will still be here, right? The exhibition match will still be there. But it's just going to be moving to a different event. Because, with the new gimmick of the Holy Grail frontline added to that gimmick, it seems that a lot of people can concentrate on farming and opening and closing all that good stuff. But currently, when it comes to the Holy Grail frontline, since it's getting higher in difficulty as well, we're still in the works. So they're saying that they might do a couple more Holy Grail frontline, then they'll do something about it later on. They might just take both of them out, to be honest. If they just leave Box Lotto as Box Lotto, I think it'd be perfectly fine. And just give, like, one challenge quest. So, like, you get to farm a lotto to your heart's content, and then you do one challenge quest. Not a day, but, like, every 3 days or some shit like that. I think that's nice. But, yeah, it says, if you want to see another exhibition match, we'll probably see a entertainment-type gimmick to bust out, like, Battle in New York concept. I see. Yeah, so I see from here on out, you're going to be switching the exhibition match to a Holy Grail front line, correct? It says, please do not forget, we want to continue the exhibition quest as well. And a lot of people want, significant amount of people want them as well. So we'll be continuing that in the later future. Oh, it says, yeah. Oh, I have to ask, why did Narrow Festival rerun occurred in this specific timing? So yeah, essentially it's saying, to be perfectly honest, we had a panel and we had a little, dead week, right? The stop loss is saying that until the next scenario live stream, please wait. That was the very first idea, aka create a dead week. After all, box type like events always came out during autumn and winter. But we believed while discussing this would have benefited the newer players to some extent. So if that was the case, if we're going to give a dead week, might as well rerun an old event. And they came up with an idea of coming out with this lotto event. But just because it's a rerun, that does not mean it's simple as that. The game system is constantly updated day by day, and therefore, moving something correctly in the past is actually a lot harder than you think. So we do have fine tunings and maintenances, and it took a little. It was very difficult, but we were managed to pull it off. So just remember, if you're going to rerun an event, you're going to have to think about all the new servants that came by, all the bugs that they probably have to patch, and all this shit. So rerun is not a snap of a finger. And Mr. Kano and the others kind of been saying this for about 6 fucking years, but people don't understand in their fucking brains. Reruns are a little harder than OGs. Why? Because they have to implement all the new gimmicks. Like, imagine rerunning a fucking Summer 3 event with command code introducing. Holy fuck. Like the new summer codes, the new codes that's been implemented, blah, 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 blah. So it's essentially saying we're going to try to do a lot more of the reruns, but it's very difficult to, make an old car run with a new engine, essentially. You get what I mean? Right? Like Mr. Kano is specifically saying it's very difficult to run a old ass car with a new fine engine. So they do fine tune it every so often. So it says, I never thought the rerun was that difficult. It says, on the other hand, when it comes to the event type rewards, you're giving out a lot. Is this what? Is this what also depicted and foreseen? Yeah, because if you don't know, I think we had 4 mats instead of 3 mats, which was a blessing in disguise. And the fact that that shit was a page, oh my god, I'd lick Mr. Two's toes, 1000%. Thank God. It says yes. We've notified this, and we are ranking up the reward system for certain. At this very moment, the sheer number of servants have increased quite many folds, and the ascensions and skills you're going to be needing a lot. See, it's funny because ascensions and skills, bitch, he's hiding the pendant. He's hiding the pendant so badly, and that's one of the reasons why we're going to get more rewards. Because we're going to get more rewards because we're going to need to farm a fuck ton. With additional ascensioning and skill invitation, right? Skill, because a pendant skill is considered as a skill. So he's using the word skill raising, not only for regular servant skill, but the appendant skill, right? Like this motherfucker is keeping it tight-lipped, but also using play on words to kind of be like, yeah. Also simultaneously, we want the players to use the servant that they've got right away as fast as they can. So things from now on, we've got little item gains. Easier item drops here's and there's is what we are thinking. So right here, it says the item drop right here is the, if you guys don't know, all free quest has increased more in drops and drop rates, which is pretty fucking cool. It's not like, oh my god, I'm getting fucking fangs like, every run, but the chances has increased slightly, which is a blessing in disguise, which is implemented in the entire free quest.これからも少しアイデアをして、もちろんある程度の経験を積んだマスターにも2.6を向けない必要な戦力をつけてほしいともあります。So it says, of course, this is also to future-proof the other experienced masters that are going into 6.0. They want it. We want them to have enough strength to fight against the enemy they're coming in forward. So are you saying that from here on out, we can expect more fancy event rewards and other cool stuff in the future? It says, I won't say everything's going to be exactly that, but that is the new current viewpoint that we have. So that's why they stopped doing main interludes? I don't know about main interludes. I think they'll talk about it right here. So, give me a second. Main interludes is being talked about right there. Oh god, fucking thing is being annoying. Sorry. Let's oh, right here. It says, when it comes to reruns, what about the main interludes that we've been anticipating? Are we having any time of adding it? So, we're just going to talk about main interludes. You're just in time, just got here. All right, so when it comes to interludes, the interlude is a quote-unquote story that has pertained and is important to the main quest. The objective is that you guys can enjoy the story even after, you can enjoy the story even after its expiration. We are not planning to create a abundance amount. When it is needed, we will add them. That's about it. That is the thought process that we're going time. Asu time, I see. Yep. What up, Narrowcron? 9 months. Can we get a support? Big poggers, big preach. Can we get some Two Love news and hype in the chat? Bust out that news and the hype, baby. Thanks for supporting my stream, my man. 9 months. What are we naming our baby? It says, of course, we're going to be adding more main interlude stories and scenarios and events, so please be patient. So, TLDR, we're going to get more interludes. We're going to get more scenario. That is going to be main interludes. It says, it seems that you're struggling during the main interlude increases. Can you tell us why and what causes it to, what causes it to slow down? It says, like, for instance, during Seraph, whenever you do scenarios and quest rotation, whenever we're trying to make it interlude, we only want to get the story in the way. Therefore, we need to recreate the story without any of the gimmicks being added to it. So because of that, we have to plan it from the very get-go. And that will definitely eat up a lot of time. So yeah, essentially, if you want main interlude, it's gonna take a while just because it's like creating a new scenario. Main interlude is half the amount of creating a new scenario in general because they have to strip all the event stuff and then just kind of tell story, and that itself is a little difficult because because they have to think about the the Kiara Punisher. Like Seraph had, you needed to open keys and whatnot and shit. So like Seraph was like a great example of how annoying fucking main interlude could be, but at the same time, they did it. Main interlude for Kama will be probably soon, not this year, but probably next year. But it says, what about the Heiankyo, aka 5.5? That was not a limited event. It seems that the free quest and main interlude is being placed on the main interlude format. Is there any reason for that? Yes. Anything that, so essentially saying anything 0.5 will just automatically be added to the terminal. Because he doesn't want any 0.5 stories added to the main terminal. You know how in the in the terminals? So any 0.5 is going to be in the main interlude, so it doesn't clog up the terminal. Yeah. There was a writer, there was a lot of writers talking about they did not want their 0.5 stories into the specific terminals. They wanted the terminals to be added into the main quest and interlude into the main interlude slot. And because of that, we were able to farm and locate, able to fucking whatchamacallit. So because of that request, we put it into main interlude, and you can still free farm quests during the by going into the main interlude. So if we get another X.5 added to it, we'll also be adding the X.5 into the main interlude. It's funny because this X.5 is a nice entourage because we're probably going to have a actual X.5 because we have a Fuyuki F and a Fuyuki X. So we're probably going to have Fuyuki X.5. So nice little hint here. Keck W. Nice little, if you know your story, that's a nice joke. Nice joke, Mr. Kano. It says 7th year of FGO, more fun spread around. It says FGO has finally reached their 7th year. Can we talk about anything that you can currently? It says currently what I can talk about is how we can increase the battle tactics for sure. We're trying to come up with a new battle system, new noble phantasm, character descriptions and options and other ideas. We want to make sure that the variety is fun and able to enjoy yourselves and creating a new fun platform every so often. It says, you say new ways to have fun. Are you saying that there will be other contents that will be like Holy Grail Frontline? If so, can we talk about any of them? Ooh, interesting. It says it'll be very difficult to increase the level of content in the Holy Grail Frontline, but but first we would like to use the Holy Grail Frontline and create a new type of event. So essentially, they're saying that it's hard to, they'll have a hard time creating a legendary to like nightmare level, right? Like that. Mr. Kano is kind of saying that it's very difficult to up the ante or the difficulties of the Grails, AIs in general, but we want to create a newer type using the Grail War Frontline as a basis. It says there's other things that we can't really talk about, but during the 7th year, we're going to be working on a completely different style for sure. So it says, so 7th year will probably be a good year due to the fact that you'll probably see the functioning style, right? The working styles. I think the working ethics. I think that Mr. Kano is saying that it's going to get better. Like, you're going to see a better environment, better time, better shenanigans in a good way. Because remember, JP is still on a heavy lockdown. Because JP is still on a heavy lockdown, they're struggling to, communicate. A lot of people are unfortunately getting hurt and infected. And so... And also, Mr. Eno, who is now the head director of DW, is doing a good job already, right? Like, kind of telling us what he does and what they're currently doing. They're giving each individual employees their work tablets so they can communicate better, which is cool. It says, what do you want to challenge personally? It says, personally will be very detailed, but in overall, I would like to get the command code swap more fun and more interface. Now that there's many different variety types, I would like an easier interface in order to switch, swap, read, and filter very easily. という感じています。フィルター機能や一度に付け剥がしが行えるようにといったものも。Oh, nice! So yeah, he's talking about like filtering it so you can find a specific better command code, or you can remove all in one go. My man! He's thinking about able to remove all command code in one go. If we can do that, I'm discussing it with the development team, and we are currently discussing it. God bless, dude. Feels good. Feels good, man. I'm really hoping that the command card entire removal will be a thing. It says, last but not least, going into the 7th year and forward, how are you feeling? It says, currently we're hands full and very busy, and we're trying to do our very best to get LB6 100%ed done and give all the love and effort we can to the users. お届けできたことに胸をなで下ろしているのですが, it says, I'm very accomplished and very proud and very happy that the fact that LB6 was done, completed, ready to go. But Season 2 will still continue. We will show you and make you experience more in depth and detailed for Lost Belt to Lost Belt. So you'll get more stories of 0.5s, right? More stories of 0.5s, and you're going to see more story interaction between LB6 and LB7, right? They're going to be giving you more context, more details, more bullshit here to get the 7. I really like how he says this. Right here. Right? LB7 and further on, in order to finish Season 2, if you can be patient, if you can be patient, it would be my greatest honor. The way he says it right here, right? LB7 and beyond the ending of part 2, you already know he's saying that there is a beyond LB7. But in wordings, right? In wording, it's saying that the finale of season 2, if you can enjoy it, it'd be greatly appreciated. But if you read between the lines, they're saying that, hey, there's 7 plus more. So enjoy. So yeah, I can almost guarantee you we're going to get the 8/moon. But at the same time, as a constructive developmental team, we are measuring new challenges and doing new challenges. So please expect great things from us. So that's Mr. Kano. Pretty good. I've got nothing negative to say. Very nice little interview that we just had there. It's nice that they're thinking about something different, right? Not really, like, as I've mentioned before, chat, they're not thinking of PvP anytime soon. It's just a company joke, inside company joke at the moment. But they want to have some sort of interesting PvP later in life. Like maybe like Anniversary 10. It's going to be like PvP. But other than that, they talked about the impressionable events, which is the idol events, the horror events, the domain events. Talks about how expensive each servant is. And they are working to fix that, right? They're working to fix that, the quality and the quantity amount. Talks about event, getting more mats, getting more riches, getting more nice stuff. They're talking about it is great that Mr. Kano is looking out for the newer players too. And so they were able to rerun the box lotto event instead of giving us a dead week, which was pretty cool because they initially was thinking of dead week. It says, please be patient until the scenario online live stream is ready. That was the first initial thought. But Mr. Kano said, let's do a box event so it'll help out the newbies, which is pretty cool to an extent, right? Like I've told people, make sure you do at least 10 boxes per lotto. And then year over year, you're going to get better and more of it. And then main interlude-wise, we're going to get more main interludes. We're going to get more 0.5s, right? And as expected, like we're going to get more 0.5s because this says that they're going to be talking about story from 6 to 7, right? Story to story. It's funny because here too, right? It says arc to arc. Arc to arc. What you mean, Mr. Kano? There should only be 6 arc and 7 arc. Why aren't you saying between 6 arc and 7 arc, right? It means that there's an 8th arc. And there's going to be a space between 7th arc and an 8th arc. And then, like, you got to read these fine lines, right? And he's saying that 7 and onwards, the conclusion of 2, if you can enjoy it, be greatly appreciated. FGO ain't ending anytime soon. They're going to take their sweet-ass time explaining arc to arc. And that's going to be a good thing, because that's going to be in more detail, more in-depth, and a lot of lores can be answered by it. God bless Mr. Kano. True. He never mentioned Season 3, though. He's not in charge of Season 3, guys. It's not his job to care about Season 3. Newsflash, he's a developmental team for just Season 2. That's his job. His job is not to talk about Season 3. Season 3 is entrusted by probably somebody else. He is a Season 2 man. He's a Season 2 development guy. He's called Mr. 2 for a fucking reason. Y'all reading this fucking interview and being like, oh my god, you know, like, FGO is ending. Well, yeah, it's ending for him because he's in charge of Season 2. Remember, Season 1 was a totally different guy? Season 2 is Mr. Kano. Season 3 probably is going to be a totally different guy. So, just don't panic, right? Like, you guys should see the pattern and the sentiments. Season 1 was done by this fucking asshole that gave us a writer gem. Season 2 is the guy that's fucking doing his very best to get a lot of content, including the end of season 2. What if it's Mafia for season 3? That'd be pretty lit. I'm down to clown. Mafia will never do it because he makes too much money being a free MC. But it would be pretty cool if it's Mafia. But it won't be. Sadly. Right? A lot of doomsday sayers will fucking come around this time. And because they've only read the Reddit translator and they can only see fucking Reddit, and they don't even think for themselves for a moment that maybe, you know, Mr. Kano, aka the goddamn Delightworks Season 2 developmental staff, right? He's the director of Season 2. He's the innovative director of Season 2. He's the director of Season 2. He's only in charge of Season 2. He does not give two shits about 3. 3 is not his problem. He is doing his best to get the best Season 2 we can get. And he is a godsend for it. He was the project manager. He was a project manager for Season 1, though. Feels good. A project manager and how the stories will progress. But now he became an official director because nobody liked the fucking writer gem guy.